At the beginning of the story, we're taken to the Silver Lake Animal Rescue Department. Inside, a small white puppy is playing all by himself with a toy carrot. There are other puppies around him, but he prefers to play alone. Then a young girl named Penny walks in. The moment she sees the little white puppy, she chooses him. She gently places a small locket around his neck with the name Bolt engraved on it, and that's how he gets his name. 5 years later, we see Penny and Bolt together. Penny receives a phone call from her father. He tells her that he won't be coming home for a few days and warns her not to leave the house. He reassures her, saying she's not alone. She has Bolt to protect her. Then we see scientists running experiments on Bolt, turning him into a superdog. Penny's father is revealed to be a brilliant scientist who has been kidnapped by the evil Dr. Calico. Bolt and Penny climb to the rooftop of a building and use binoculars to spy on Dr. Calico, who is speaking to Penny's father. Determined to save him, they rush into action. But suddenly, an agent attacks them, someone sent to capture Penny. Bolt slams his head into the agent's car with incredible force, sending it flying into the air. Penny demands to know where Calico is, but the agent refuses to answer, so Bolt dangles him over a river, trying to force the truth out of him. Suddenly, more enemies attack. Bolt and Penny fight their way through and escape. As they head toward the airport, more men block their path, but Bolt unleashes a massive, powerful bark. The road splits open, and cars are blasted into the air. Penny picks up Bolt and runs. Then the truth is revealed. Penny is actually the star of a television show, and Bolt plays the role of a super-powered dog. In reality, Bolt has no powers at all, but he's been raised to believe that everything is real. The director watches the latest footage and notices a boom mic accidentally visible in the shot. Furious, he yells at the crew. If Bolt ever saw that microphone, he might realize he's not really a superdog. At that moment, the TV network host Mindy walks in. She warns the director that if the ratings drop, everyone's losing their jobs, and then she leaves. Later, Bolt and Penny are in a room together. Penny tells Bolt that all the bad guys are gone now, no one will hurt them anymore. But Bolt keeps staring at the door, always on guard, ready to protect her. When Penny tries to leave, Bolt doesn't want her to go. Still, she walks out. Penny asks her mom if she can take Bolt home for the weekend, but her manager refuses. Everyone leaves, and Bolt is left behind. Then two veteran cats approach him. They warn him, "You survived this time, but next time, the green-eyed man won't show mercy." Bolt responds confidently, he won't rest until he destroys Dr. Calico. Filming begins again. Bolt fights through Calico's commandos and reaches the supercomputer with Penny. But suddenly, Dr. Calico appears and kidnaps Penny. Cut. The scene is finished. Bolt is placed inside a crate by his caretaker. Penny tries to visit him, but her manager won't allow it. But Bolt doesn't understand it's just acting. He truly believes Penny has been kidnapped for real. Determined to save her, Bolt escapes from the studio and runs off on his own. He reaches the editing room where someone is reviewing the kidnapping scene. On the screen, Penny is screaming. Bolt hears her voice. He panics and runs toward a large prop box used during filming. He thinks Penny is trapped inside. Bolt charges at the glass, smashing into it with his head, trying to break it, but it doesn't shatter. Instead, he crashes into a foam prop box and gets accidentally shipped far away. Now Bolt finds himself in a completely different place. On the street, he sees a man and mistakes him for Dr. Calico. Bolt tries to use his super strength to break through a fence blocking his way, but this time, nothing happens. No powers. He can't break it. He falls hard to the ground. And that's when he notices a truck nearby, carrying a large box, and Bolt has no idea. His real adventure is only just beginning. Bolt tries to smash into the truck with his head, determined to stop it, but the driver suddenly swerves to avoid him, and the truck flips over. Bolt rushes toward the box inside, but it's empty. That's when he notices other dogs nearby. He asks them if they've seen Penny. Before he can get an answer, an animal control officer tries to catch him. Bolt panics and runs, but slams straight into a metal gate. His head gets stuck between the bars. He struggles, but he can't pull himself free. Suddenly, a group of pigeons swoops in and helps him escape. Bolt quickly tells them that Penny has been kidnapped and that he's searching for a cat who might know where Dr. Calico is. The pigeons take him to a streetwise alley cat named Mittens, a cat who absolutely terrorizes pigeons for fun. Bolt asks her about Calico, but she claims she doesn't know anything. So Bolt dangles her over the street until she agrees to talk. That's when Mittens notices the tag on Bolt's collar, Hollywood. She immediately realizes this isn't a superdog, he's a TV star. Mittens shows Bolt a map that leads back to Hollywood. Determined to rescue Penny, Bolt decides that's where he needs to go, but he doesn't trust Mittens, so he ties her to himself using his leash to make sure she doesn't escape. Along the way, Bolt spots some moving men and mistakes them for enemy commandos. He hides under a couch with Mittens hanging beside him, but then the couch gets picked up and loaded onto a truck, and just like that, they're on the move again. Meanwhile, Penny is heartbroken over Bolt's disappearance. She refuses to smile. She refuses to move on. Her manager arrives and tells her she's scheduled to be the lead guest at an event this Saturday. Penny doesn't want to go. The manager shrugs and says, it's not like it matters if Bolt isn't around. Back inside the moving truck, Mittens asks Bolt what kind of superpowers he has. Bolt says he can't reveal classified information. Mittens tries to knock him out from behind with a stick, but she slips and falls instead. A foam prop box lands on Bolt, and he assumes the foam must be weakening his powers, so he jumps out of the moving truck. Soon, Bolt feels something strange. His stomach growls. He doesn't understand it. Penny always fed him. He's never had to look for food before. Mittens sighs. "You're hungry." She takes him to a restaurant and tells him to go inside, make his cutest face, and bring food back out. Bolt walks in, gives everyone the most adorable puppy eyes ever, and walks out with an entire meal. When Mittens tries the same thing, she gets chased away. Later, Mittens jokes that she hasn't eaten this much in years. Her stomach's practically sticking out. Bolt barks outside a house, and suddenly, a hamster inside hears him. It's Rhino, Bolt's biggest fan. Rhino rolls out in his plastic ball and introduces himself. Mittens asks who he is. He proudly declares, "Name's Rhino. I'm Bolt's #1 fan." Rhino asks about Penny. Bolt explains that the green-eyed man, Dr. Calico, has captured her, and he captured Mittens to help track him down. Hearing this, Rhino attacks Mittens in defense of Bolt, but Bolt stops him. Rhino insists on joining the mission. Soon the three of them use a banner hanging from a bridge to leap onto a moving train, but Mittens slips and ends up dangling from the side. Bolt tries to help her, but she refuses his help. The ladder snaps. Mittens climbs back up onto the train, but Bolt is left hanging. Rhino assumes Mittens tried to kill him and pushes her away, until Bolt's leash finally snaps. All three of them fall off the train. Mittens climbs up into a tree and finally shouts the truth. "You're not a superdog. You're just a TV actor." But Bolt refuses to believe her. That's when Animal Control shows up and captures both Bolt and Mittens. Rhino chases after the truck, determined to save his hero. Meanwhile, Penny is putting up missing posters for Bolt. Suddenly, her manager shows up, holding another white dog. For a moment, Penny's heart lifts, but she instantly knows that's not her Bolt. Then Mindy, the network host, arrives and warns Penny if filming doesn't resume soon, dozens of people could lose their jobs. Faced with the pressure, Penny agrees to continue shooting, even without Bolt. Bolt tries to use his super strength to break the car door open, but nothing happens. Mittens looks at him seriously and says, "Bolt, you're not a superdog." But Bolt refuses to believe it. He slams into the door again with all his force. Just then, Rhino appears and opens the door from the outside. Bolt thinks his powers worked, but Rhino proudly says, I opened it," and in that moment, Bolt finally realizes the truth. He was never super. Now there's no time to think. Bolt and Rhino rush to rescue Mittens. They sneak past the guards and reach her cage. Mittens looks at Bolt in shock. "How did you even get here? You don't have any powers." Bolt calmly says, "I know." He frees her from the cage. Suddenly, another dog grabs Rhino in its mouth. A guard rushes in, but Bolt tackles the guard down and they escape. Rhino breaks free too. One last guard blocks their path, but another guard accidentally kicks Rhino, sending him flying straight into the first guard's face. A gas cylinder falls. Boom! A massive explosion. But Bolt, Mittens, and Rhino survive and escape by jumping into a moving RV. Inside the RV, Bolt asks Mittens quietly, "If I'm not a superdog, then what am I?" Mittens looks at him gently. "You're just a dog." She shows him what normal dogs do, drinking water from a toilet bowl, eating crumbs off the kitchen floor. Rhino starts singing loudly, celebrating that they saved a girl. He proudly calls himself Super Rhino. Mittens tells Bolt something important. Know what dogs love most? Sticking their head out the window. Bolt tries it. The wind hits his face, and for the first time, he feels free. Mittens teaches him how to just be a regular dog. For a while, Bolt starts to change. One morning, Mittens wakes him up with a surprise. She's built a small, cozy home for them inside the RV, but Bolt refuses to stay. He still wants to go back to Penny. Mittens tries to stop him, but Bolt leaves alone. Bolt eventually reaches Hollywood. There, he meets two pigeons, Om and Prakash, who claim to be his biggest fans. They want to make a movie with him. Bolt tells them, "Help me find Penny, and we'll make that movie." Meanwhile, Mittens and Rhino also reach Hollywood. Rhino spots a security guard and thinks he's one of Dr. Calico's men. He charges at the guard's feet, but gets picked up instead. Bolt reaches his old home. He searches for Penny, and then he sees something that breaks his heart. There's another white dog beside her, a replacement, and Penny is filming scenes with him. Bolt believes she has replaced him, that she doesn't love him anymore. Heartbroken, he turns to leave. During filming, the replacement dog panics and runs. He crashes into a studio light. Fire spreads quickly. The set goes up in flames. Mittens sees Bolt and tells him, "Penny loves you." That was just acting, but Bolt doesn't listen until he hears Penny screaming. That changes everything. Smoke fills the air. Flames surround them. Bolt finds Penny. She runs to him, but collapsing beams knock them both down. Through the smoke, Penny whispers their old command, "Zoom, zoom." Bolt understands. He grabs one end of a rope in his mouth and gives the other end to Penny. He pulls, but the smoke becomes too thick. Penny collapses, coughing. She tells Bolt to leave her and save himself, but Bolt refuses. He stays. Then he notices a metal air vent pipe. Bolt runs to it and barks with everything he has. Not a super bark, just a real one. His voice echoes through the pipe. Outside, rescue officers hear it. They locate them and pull both Bolt and Penny to safety. They're rushed into an ambulance. Penny's manager runs up saying, "I'll make sure you get all the credit. We're going to be rich," but Penny's mom kicks him out of the ambulance. Later, doctors explain Penny's injuries were serious, and they had to reconstruct part of her face. Penny smiles softly and says, "Well, now Dr. Calico won't recognize me." Suddenly, Dr. Calico appears, trying to attack her again, but Bolt jumps in to protect her. Then aliens arrive and take them away. Cut. It's revealed this is all just another scene being filmed. Rhino is watching it on TV. He and Mittens both agree. This movie isn't very good. In the end, Bolt, Mittens, and Rhino leave Hollywood behind. They move into a real home with Penny. No cameras, no scripts, no fake powers, just family. Penny takes a perfect picture of all of them together. Bolt runs and plays with Penny in the yard, not as a superdog, but as something far greater, a real hero. If this story touched you even a little, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us for more stories that remind us, sometimes being real is the greatest superpower of all. See you in the next one.